Hey guys, so this will be for Libra for the month of February. Keep in mind, guys, that time doesn't really exist. So even though this is for February, it's really just the upcoming energy in your life, okay? If this reading doesn't resonate with you, check your rising, moon, or Venus sign. I can say that your moon sign will answer your soul's deepest question. So that's a good place to start, or your rising sign. I know a lot of people resonate with those more than their sun sign. But yeah, this will be for Libra. Okay, so let's get started. Libra for February. Come to the edge. This is in the recent past. This is about like not necessarily taking risks, but being open to change in your life. All right, kind of like pushing your limitations, your boundaries, being open to change, with courage, approaching things courageously, like stepping outside your comfort zone. Okay, and then we have observer as the overall energy here. I don't feel that this is the current energy that you're in, Libra. Let's see. Libra. Yeah. Dry desert. Interesting. Rescue. This is an interesting reading. There's a few ways that I'm taking. There's a couple messages I'm getting from these cards, so it could be different for different people. Let me get some more information. Libra. Yeah. I feel like you're ready for love. There's something in the recent past that you went outside of your comfort zone to find, or to pursue, okay? It didn't necessarily turn out as you expected, or you may have felt alone during that time. I can't get the sense if you're single or not. Some of you may be, obviously, but I feel like this has to do with love in particular. So whether you're in a relationship or not, I feel like you went out of your comfort zone to change, like to try to change something that was like more in alignment with you, and maybe it wasn't necessarily received in the best way, and you kind of felt alone. Alternatively, stepping outside of your comfort zone may have been like freeing at the time, but then you realized, or you were kind of like second guessing yourself after you did that. Like, was it the right choice? You felt a little bit lost. Like, you felt great in the moment of like stepping outside your comfort zone. Like, oh, this is exhilarating. This is incredible, right? Like, I'm not taking risks, but I'm being courageous enough to go after the things that I want in life. But I feel like you had like a little bit of a setback after that. Okay. In the heart of the reading, we have the sacral chakra. So this has to do with like self-care, courage, passion. You're working on courage a lot, like a lot. And that's the biggest word that is coming to mind, is like courage. You're working a lot on getting outside of your comfort zone. And sometimes you may feel like this. You may feel like a little bit lost. Like, did I make the right, did I make the right decision, or choice, that kind of thing. But there's this like bubbling sense of urgency when it comes to building more courage in your life. Okay, particularly in regard to romance, right? Particularly in regard to romance. I feel like you were waiting for someone to rescue you. You were waiting for someone, and you felt like you were working on courage, and then you stepped outside of your comfort zone, and you're like, oh, this isn't necessarily what I expected, and then like waiting for someone to rescue you. But I feel like you're finding the courage to be okay with this being you, right? Because we're the only ones who can rescue ourselves on this type of path, right? So I get the sense that you're finding your inner courage. That's the underlying message. Yeah, and it's a balancing act between like staying in your comfort zone and getting out of your comfort zone. There's a balance, right? Yeah. See, that's reflected here again. Do I get outside my comfort zone? Do I not? That's like literally the words that I'm hearing in my head when I'm holding this card. Do I get outside my comfort zone, or do I stay in my comfort zone? I feel like you've been grappling with this. Yeah, see, it's reflected here too. It's reflected here too. Like which path, balancing act, right? Between like coming to the edge or feeling alone. Like how many times is that reflected already? So that's what I'm seeing. It's almost like you were waiting for someone to notice or to come to the rescue, and you realized like it has to be you. It has to be you. So you're kind of in that transition process right now. That's the sense I'm getting. And you're looking at your actions and what happens after you make these choices, right? You're kind of observing that, like cause and effect. You're observing that, right? Like I'm gonna get outside of my comfort zone, and what happens when I make these choices. You're examining this, but I feel like your courage is building. You're like becoming more comfortable with stepping outside of your comfort zone, which is great, if that makes any sense. Yeah, leadership and new beginnings. You're taking the lead in getting out of your comfort zone for these new beginnings, for these the opportunity to experience these things in your life. That's what you're taking leadership on. You're not waiting to be rescued anymore. Yeah, as I'm shuffling. Could that be any more clear? Nowhere on any of these cards here did it say that. They're confirming, because this caught my eye when I was shuffling. Yes, that's what this is about. Freedom. Yeah. Solitude. That's reflected a couple times in this reading. This is about reflection, observing, right? Reflection, dry desert, solitude. You may be spending a lot of time alone, or you feel alone like intermittently, because those cards are like kind of scattered throughout this reading. Like they're like peppered. So I feel like you kind of go through these phases of like being okay with getting outside of your comfort zone, like working up the courage to get outside your comfort zone, and then you're traversing like cause and effect. You're experimenting with your courage, and like you feel lonely at times, but it's also freeing that you're doing this. I hope this reading is making sense. It's a very interesting reading. I could tell that from the first two cards that were on the table. I'm like, this is it's almost like contradicting, but not, right? Because you're experimenting with your comfort zone. That's what it is. You're experimenting with your comfort zone. All right, let me get a spirit animal. Truth transcends illusion. Yeah, you're pushing, as I was saying at the beginning of the reading, you're pushing your own boundaries, like for self. What's true? What's false? What's something that I've been hanging on to? What's, you're kind of like, you're experimenting. You're experimenting on what's truth and what's like a preconceived notion, particularly in regard to your courage and comfort zone. That's like, yes, set healthy boundaries. Yeah, so your boundaries may be being redefined or reestablished as you're going through this process. Really interesting reading, Libra. Really interesting. I mean, it's good. It's really incredible. Let me clarify with some tarot here. I think I want to use this one. Yeah, the fountain. The fountain. So you're like, you're pushing your boundaries to see what you're capable of. You're experimenting with it. And you realize that it's freeing to do that, to break. It's like breaking outside of your the confines of your mind. Freedom. Breaking outside the confines of your mind. Libra. Wow. Okay, well, let's just do it. Yeah. Breaking outside the confines of your mind. Could that image be any more clear? 9 of Wands. This is about boundaries. This is about fighting. This is about planning and strategizing. Right? Look at him pushing past the boundaries, literally, as I was saying that. And then all those cards fell out. You guys, you can't make this stuff up. Like, that happened for a reason. So I'm just going to take them. Let's see what it says. 8 of Cups, 6 of Cups, 3 of Cups, 8 of Swords, Knight of Swords, King of Swords, Queen of Cups, 3 of Wands. All right, let's tackle this. So yeah, this, I mean, that could have happened literally just so this card, it could be, because it's like pushing the boundaries, getting outside your comfort zone, fighting for what you believe in, and you're kind of, what you want this. You feel a little restricted, or you did in the past, but you're pushing it to see what's true. Okay. 8 of Cups, walking away from something that was not completely emotionally fulfilling, either in regard to love or personal boundaries, like boundaries that you had placed on yourself. Okay. Boundaries that you had placed on yourself. You were walking away to kind of push the limits, come to the edge, taking a chance, taking a leap of faith, right? You were walking away from what wasn't emotionally fulfilling. Dry desert. So yeah, you kind of were experimenting, feeling alone, like here intermittently, kind of thinking back to good times that you had maybe with someone or with other people in your life, right? That you're kind of, you like outgrew them or something. You're outgrowing them. But you're kind of like thinking back, feeling a little bit lonely, thinking about the good times that you had together. But you're still choosing your own growth. Which is great. 8 of Swords, Knight of Swords. Yeah, this is about being stuck up in your head and also having like quick truth revealed to you this is like that push and pull of these energies of like getting outside your comfort zone and seeing what will happen. This is like that push and pull of those energies. The Eight of Swords being all like stuck up in your head, repetitive thought patterns, like a mental prison, right? You want to get out of that. You want to get out of that. You know, that's where the freedom lies, and you're finding the courage to do that. All right. If this is a perfect visual representation of that push and pull that I felt from immediately the first two cards on the table. It's like that, I don't know how else to describe it, that push and pull of like getting back into those mental, like those old mental pathways, right? That you're trying to break out of. It's like a tug of war between that. Interesting. You'll find it. This is the King of Swords. These cards, you guys, fell out for a reason, okay? The tarot is like that. Tarot is like that, right? Truth transcends illusion. King of Swords, very truthful, balanced, fair, honest, right? This is where you're gonna find your balance. It's coming. You've kind of been like going back and forth in the recent past, and even now at the time that you're watching this, but in the near future, like in the upcoming energy of your life, you find that balance. The King of Swords. Truth transcends illusion. You're just going to be cutting out of the illusion, seeing things very clearly. You'll regain that balance from that push and pull that's been happening in regard to your mental status, in regard to stepping outside your comfort zone and fighting for this, pushing past your boundaries, okay? Queen of Cups, Three of Wands. Yeah, so Queen of Cups, she's very intuitive. She's very in tune with her emotions, has a very big heart, okay? And Three of Wands is like, you've done the work in regard to your emotions, and this is towards the end of the cards that fell out, and now you're like waiting for your ships to come in. There's like a pause in the journey while you're waiting for the work that you've been doing to be reciprocated back to you, and listening to your heart and intuition. That's going to be your guide. That's going to be your guide. But also see here how in this deck that I chose to use for this reading, Libra, this person is pulling the ship in, because it's about waiting for your ships. He's pulling the ship in. Okay, this is the push and pull process of mind and heart that is occurring in regard to your comfort zone and what you're capable of. See that? Before I even saw this, I was literally saying this is like a push and pull. Okay? That's what's happening. And you'll find your balance. It's coming. It's coming. All right. So, yeah. I hope that helped you, Libra. Really super interesting reading. Yeah, I will talk to you next time.